It was just like basically a hole with mannequins.
Oh, no.
The entire house, and the mannequins were all wearing like prom dresses.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alyssa and Katie, and we are two top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths.
Is this thing on?
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to tell you what. This is going to be a great episode. I can already tell you.
You have the giggles.
I have the giggles. I'm excited. I guess I should tell you hello. Hi.
Hey, Katie.
How's it going, Alyssa?
Oh, it's going just fine.
Okay, this is episode 189, listing photos.
Okay.
And I just am down the rabbit hole of bad MLS photos right now. And it is, look, if you're having a bad day, that'll put you right real quick.
If you're down on yourself, feeling like, man, I'm not a very good agent, just go look at these photos that agents have used to market their listings.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So the number one thing that I think we need to say at the beginning of this episode, because no matter who listens, you should take away one thing. Professional photos are not optional.
No.
You need professional photos. And not only do you need them, you need to talk about them to your clients and tell them why you need them. And that's because how many buyers start out online? 97%?
Yep.
I mean, so everyone
if the pictures
is seeing
aren't
it.
good, they're not coming.
Say it again.
If the pictures aren't good, they are not coming.
They're not coming. They're not coming. So that's the most important thing. And we're going to kind of talk you through how to hire a photographer. What are you going to do on your, like all the stuff. And then we're going to tell you some don'ts.
Yes.
Because don'ts are very important with photos.
And just some background, we have 2 episodes that would be the lead up to this one.
Okay.
So episode 35, we have staged to sell.
Right.
That more, if you are one of our template owners, you have the getting your house ready for photos checklist.
Yeah.
Because it is attached to the pre-listing email.
And that is sort of a hybrid of staging and photo prep.
Right. Just start things to start doing before we come to the initial meeting. So
Right.
you're not surprised. And then episode 73 is how to build your staging closet.
Okay.
So if you want to do some light staging in your listings or just helping with photos or helping out sellers who are maybe sparse or just don't have like the decor you're looking for, that episode is more things that you can just have for yourself without having to get like a whole storage unit of staging.
Yeah.
So we will try to focus not so much on staging, even though they do kind of go together.
Okay, fair. But there are do's and don'ts for photography, regardless of how it's staged. If it's a vacant house, if it's an occupied house, there are do's and don'ts on photography day, right? Regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start with, we've already told them they have to have a photographer. So how do you find a photographer?
I found my photographer through word of mouth early in my career. He was a realtor in my office that really just has his real estate license for his own personal things. He doesn't really work with buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
We just became friends. I've always liked his photos, and he was always very accommodating. So.
Okay. When did you start using a professional photographer?
Since the moment I got my first listing.
Okay, love it. I feel like I was a relatively early adopter.
Okay.
I mean, it was a real estate specific photographer, but they were new to the market. It was probably, I don't know, 20% of agents had started using.
But you started real estate what year?
2005.
And how many people had professional photos?
At that point, probably none.
Right.
But quickly thereafter, in the next few years.
That's when you really started seeing it? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
See, when I started in 2011, everybody had...
Most everyone did.
Yeah, that's just what you did.
Right. But there are still agents to this day in 2023 that do not use a photographer.
Clearly from that website.
And I would say when you're going to get a photographer, it's not just any person with a nice camera. It's an actual person with the appropriate lens who takes real estate photos.
Correct.
They're not the same as wedding photos.
No, and I did have a photographer one time that reached out saying she was trying to branch into real estate and asked me to give her, a try at she would do
Right.
a discount for the first couple packages, and they just didn't pop the
Right.
way the real estate photographers did. They were pretty.
Right.
They would have been fine, but I get so excited when I get that email with
Yeah.
my listing photos because I know it's going to stun me.
Yeah, and it's going to look the best. Now, I don't think you need to over filter a photo to where it doesn't look like the same house, but it is going to have the appropriate light, the right angle to where you're seeing the whole room. That requires a certain kind of lens. So, yeah, the photos always come back and are beautiful.
And I think that is a very good point. So even if it's a really ugly, terrible house that needs repairs.
Yeah.
Okay. I have listed a few properties that were either succession properties or in some sort of distress. Okay. And I have told my photographer, listen, I don't want people to be deceived. You're here because I like how your lens shows the whole room without distorting it, captures the space. I don't want you to filter out lighting or stains or that I want them to see. So that's what I like too, is some people say, well, this house is so ugly. But I'm like, no, I really think that if you're still trying to market it as a blank slate, or whatever, need of repair, it's still helpful that they can see the pictures for what it is. So I don't want to over edit.
No.
He makes the sky blue. He makes the grass green.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're not going to.
I love that.
Yeah.
He makes the sky blue and the grass green.
But we're not going to get into editing what color the floors look like.
No.
Yeah.
No. But look, I have a current listing right now, and my client pulled out the photos from when we bought it just a couple of years ago. She's like, do you remember this? The photos made the floor look gray and the walls look gray, and when we got here it was all like brown and tan, like they were filtered. And I'm like, wow, you're right. Looking at it and then looking at what it was, they were not the same.
This is not right.
You never want a buyer to show up to the house and be like, this isn't even the same house.
We actually had a lawsuit filed.
You did?
In our office.
Okay.
I don't remember what the situation was exactly, but somebody sued somebody because of the photos and what they appeared to be.
Oh.
Like, this was back when people were making offers sight unseen.
Okay.
When we were in the peak of busyness. Okay. And this house was listed. It was something to do with the pool.
Okay.
The pool was very edited in the photo.
Okay.
Looked like an oasis, just like your perfect resort. And then they made an offer sight unseen, scheduled the inspection, flew in town for the inspection. So spent inspection money, flight money, hotel money, and got there and was like, this is it's false advertising.
Right.
At some point, and they have a case for it.
Wow.
They do have a case for it. So you do have to be careful with how much you are deceiving.
Yeah. Okay. Ironically, I have a story also about a pool. My buyer they were luckily here though, and we went to go look at the house. The listing photos show an aerial with a blue pool, an in-ground blue pool. When we went to the house, the pool was what I would label it was a fixer-upper. The pool was brown like a pond. It was a lined pool, but when you looked inside of it, the liner was gone. It was mud. It was just like basically a hole with water in it in a yard. Wow. It couldn't be fixed. In fact, when the appraiser came, they said, this loan is not approved with this pool here at all.
I bet.
So the seller had to fill it in.
Actually,
in order for us to close, they had to fill in the pool.
I guess your people didn't want the pool.
I mean, they really wanted the house more than the pool, and they didn't have any other choices. And I think it wasn't like, oh, we went to this house because of the pool. But I do feel like that photo should never have been included, because the pool was not like, oh, it needs chemicals and it'll be fine.
No,
it was
not repairable.
Not repairable. It was not repairable. So that is a good point. You can't. The same thing with virtual staging is fine. Or we were just looking at a bad MLS photo where they cut and paste in like a stove and a microwave. You can't.
It's not there.
You can't make something be there that's not there. Now,
Right.
if it's virtual staging, and we'll get to this again, I feel like you should have 2 photos.
Yes.
One is the virtually staged photo and one is the vacant photo. So they understand these things are not there now.
Right.
They're just a sample, you know? So we have to be very careful with that. Okay, but I found my photographer because they were advertising to local real estate offices. They were only doing real estate photography. I think this is the same as hiring a title attorney. You want a real estate photographer.
Yes.
Okay. And then how do you order? Do you just like text?
I text Ben.
Yeah, because you know him. I think ours, the one I was using, has like an online system. You go in,
Yes,
pick the day,
yes.
pick the time.
And I've used
Very
yours. Like
easy.
if ever I need something quicker than he can get there,
Yeah.
I like yours too. It's just different. You know, I have
Yeah. And so the one I use is a franchise. They're all over the country. But there are real estate photographers in every market.
Yeah.
For sure. It should not be too hard to find one. And again, I think asking a referral from another agent is a good idea. Okay, Alyssa, now tell us what before we do prep work and talk about like kind of nitpicky stuff, what exactly happens on a photo appointment
When the photographer comes.
when the photographer is there?
Okay, so I do, if you own our email templates, there is a email template for once photos are scheduled.
Okay.
I love this one. Okay, it's so helpful, and I just feel like the boxes have been checked.
Yeah.
It has everything I need them to know, when photos are going to be. I also make my sellers leave for photos.
Okay, that was my next question.
I have evolved to that
Okay.
because I never had one that went well when they were there.
That's shocking to me because my sellers are almost always there.
And maybe I'm very like,
Are you uncomfortable with that?
No,
What's
I'm
the
just like, I
problem?
don't want to chit chat.
You're like, this is taking too long because we're here together.
Yes, like I want to be in and out.
I'm sure Ben, your photographer, prefers no one there.
He does. And actually, even there have been times where it was just me, not my sellers. And he's like, Alyssa, I see your arm. Like, move.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, so the process is, I usually would get there like 20 minutes before him to
Right.
measure all the rooms and
Okay.
make sure everything is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
There has been a time or two. So I have been to the house already.
Okay.
I have done the walkthrough. I have sent all the things. Okay, it should be ready today.
Yeah.
There has been maybe 2 or 3 times where I showed up 20 minutes early and had to text him and say, do not come.
Yeah.
It is not ready. They did not do what they said they were going to do.
Right.
It's not happening today.
Yeah.
So I have had that. It's very rare.
Right.
And it hasn't happened in years. But maybe in my earlier, it has certainly happened before. So I try to take that time to get my input sheet done, measure all the rooms. As I go through and measure, I'm turning on all the lights for him and kind of checking everything.
Yeah. Okay.
When he arrives, I don't usually stay the whole time because I'm pretty much done with my input sheet.
Yeah.
I make sure he doesn't need anything. After he takes the exterior photos, I put the lockbox on the front door.
Okay.
That's kind of something too. I see a lot of photos where the lockbox is on the front door.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
It's also not fun if you want to use these photos
Right.
as your gift after closing, like in a book. I don't want a lockbox on the front
door. Yeah. I just don't like
You
it.
can't have a sign in the picture.
No signs
You can get
allowed in our
flagged.
MLS. Yeah.
I mean, in Louisiana, I
Okay.
don't have a clue anywhere else.
Right.
But it is a part of the law, like where we can't have that kind of advertising in the listing photo because your phone number is on there.
And if we're not going at the same time, sometimes I will go before him and leave the lockbox disassembled in the sink
Yeah.
and be like, hey, when you're done, do you mind just
pop it
snapping
on
this
there.
on?
Yeah.
And, so that's usually my process. But yes, my sellers were trying to help always.
Okay.
And I just wanted to be like, get out.
Okay.
Get out.
I am opposite. My sellers are almost always there. I tell them they don't have to be there. Like, if you want to leave me a key, that's the one I'm going to put in the lockbox. You can be gone. I can handle this. No problem. But if they're there, I have no problem directing them. Like, hey, open these blinds, turn on these lights, turn off the fans, do the list, and I've given them the list, but sometimes you still have to do things, right?
Yeah.
And then we hide in the garage, or I go and measure rooms while he's in other places. So I definitely think that it's okay if they're there as long as you're able to corral them and not
Yeah.
and not slow you down.
I just didn't care to. I just found it was
fine.
making me have a bad attitude.
It's totally, we don't want you to have a bad attitude.
I just asked him to leave. And so it basically says, please do not be present. He's coming at this time. Please let me know where the key will be. This will be my key.
Right.
So you will not have access to it after photos. So make sure you have your own.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I found when they're not there, me and the photographer can speak freely.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this comforter is not working.
Do you worry about being surveilled?
I mean, I don't say
You're
anything.
not ugly.
No. But we just, to where if they were listening, I wouldn't be worried. But if they were standing in the room with us.
You might feel self-conscious.
If you want to listen, fine. You're going to hear I dislike your comforter maybe.
Right.
But it's fine. He appreciates it. I appreciate it. It's just easier to be I'm usually trying to be in and out.
Yeah.
I've spent much time consulting at this point.
Right.
Today is the day.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
And so I'll let them know that if we need to move things, we will. And then their checklist, do we want to go through that right now before they leave the house?
I think that's a good idea.
So their checklist before they leave the house, and this is if it's occupied. If it is vacant, I'm not going to ask them to go over there and turn all the lights on.
No, I can do
We
that.
will handle that.
Right.
But if you are in the home and you're leaving for photos, this is what I want you to do. Leave all your lights and lamps on.
Right.
Every light and lamp that you have, turn it on.
Including like the oven, like the light, not in the oven, but on the
vent.
all the lights.
Your microwave vent light.
Under the cabinet.
Turn it on.
All the lights.
Every
light.
single light.
All
if
the
there is
lights.
a light that can be turned on.
On.
Oh,
but wait, before you move on from lights, that's the number one thing I have to run to my car and grab during photos is a light bulb.
Right.
Please make sure all of the bulbs are working.
Yes, and that should be on their first checklist getting ready. But yes, light bulbs, burnt out bulbs, or different colored bulbs.
Oh, right. You need them to match.
They really stand out in a photo.
They do. Oh, listen.
Oh, gosh.
On many listing photo appointment, mostly in a vacant house, have I taken a bulb and run from room to room and filled a fixture so he could take the photo.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because one's missing here, one's missing there. I don't have enough to fill it all at the same time. I would literally take a bulb and be running from room to room.
Oh.
And luckily my photographer is quite tall because sometimes in a vacant house, there's not a step stool.
No.
Some fixtures you can't reach.
Sure.
Okay, go on.
Okay, turn off all fans.
Yes.
You can't take a photo of a moving fan.
Huh.
You don't think
People
about these
try.
things. They try. We see it in MLS all the time. That whoosh on the living room ceiling.
No. Then it's just a blur.
Yep. Open all drapes.
Okay.
Turn blinds to the horizontal position.
Right.
TV's off.
Mm-hmm.
Clear off countertops, kitchen and bathrooms. Hide your toiletries from your shower and bath. I do tell my sellers, photo day is the hardest day.
Right.
It is harder than showings.
Yes.
It is okay for shampoo to be in your shower for showings.
Right.
For photo day, I want it gone.
Yeah, you don't
I want
need it for
perfection.
Right, like the bath mats should not be on the floor for photos. Bath mats are fine on like a showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So toiletries, toothbrushes, all that hidden.
Yep.
Sometimes I tell my sellers, get a basket
Yeah.
and leave. When you leave for photo day, take it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Close toilet lids, just so we're not getting the inside of a toilet bowl. Hide your trash cans.
Let's go back to toilets. Here's an interesting thing that is different on photo day and showing day. Your toilet lids should always be closed. Nothing irks my nerves more than going to an agent open house where the agent is showing a home and the toilet lids are open. I'm like, you're
It
here.
really bothers you?
Go close the toilet. The
Interesting.
toilet should not be open.
Why?
Ever. Never, ever.
Okay.
Now-
Always closed.
Please always closed.
I didn't
But-
realize this was a thing of yours.
Yes, because it's so tacky to have that toilet lid open. I don't know why, but it just is. Toilet lid must be closed. But here's the other thing. Your toilets don't have to be perfectly clean for photo day because the lid should be closed. But for showings, probably want those toilets to be clean. I don't know. Someone's
Just
going
in
to look at the
case.
toilet, whatever.
Yeah.
But like your sink doesn't have to be perfectly clean for photo day. But on a showing, you want it squeaky clean. The only thing that has to be perfectly clean for photo day, I think, is the floor and fans. Those things will show in a photo.
The fans do. I've never really.
It just depends on how dirty they are.
I know sometimes you get a
if they're really dirty.
Thick.
a lot of people just, when they're living in their space, they don't realize it has gotten dirty over time and they just don't think about it, or they run the fan all the time.
Some of the cleanest people have a thick layer on their fan.
If you're running it all the time, the fan
notice.
is collecting more dust and you never notice because you don't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So you turn it off for the photo and all of a sudden it's like, ooh,
right.
We need to clean that. Okay, carry on.
Hide your trash cans.
Yes.
And this one I just added because I got photos back. I had gone early, and so photographer went solo.
Okay.
And then when I got the photos back, I'm like, there's a car in the carport. And he was like, I know, I didn't know what to do. And I was like, well, because they are a 3-car family. So they had gone to work and left the personal vehicle. They gotta get and I didn't think about it. It wasn't on the list.
Right.
So it has been added as number 9.
Okay.
I do end the email with letting them know once pictures have been taken, it takes 2 to 3 days to get them back. Here's the thing. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I get them back the next day, but I don't know what my day is like.
Yeah.
So I don't want to promise you that I can make your house live tomorrow.
Right.
I need a buffer.
Well, it's whatever your system
That's my
is,
buffer.
It's fine. Like my photographer gives them back the next day and I don't have a problem uploading it that day. However, I would then schedule the photos accordingly. If I knew I couldn't put it the next day, then I would just push the photos back or forward or whatever.
So once I have the photos, I like to write the description as I'm looking at the photos. It just, so I just need a little, once the photos are in my hand, I need just a little bit of time
with them
and make sure that I have time to get the whole thing done.
Okay.
So that is my photo appointment prep list.
Okay.
Hey friends, we are here to tell you that we have made you a freebie.
A freebie.
It's free.
It's free.
Those are my favorite ones.
I know. Look, I love a good freebie, and this one is vital.
I love it.
Now, I will say we have always, since episode 9, way back then, when we had our database episode, the original, had our database template for free.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It is a spreadsheet. It is the column headers and some instructions on how to use it. It is not difficult.
No.
But we have amped it up this year. And now there is a who do you know list that comes with your database template.
So this list will really help you build your database. If you feel like you don't know who to add, how do I find people, this list gets you brainstorming about who do you already know.
Right. This even works if you're brand new to your area.
Yeah.
So who do you know? You're going to take the list and you're like, oh, yeah.
I know these people.
I know them. And you're going to put them straight onto that database template and you're going to hit the ground running with your database work.
It's an excellent resource.
And you just have to visit hustlehumblypodcast.com/start here.
Yes, because the database is the foundation of your business. It's where you need to start.
Start there.
Perfect.
Okay. Enjoy. So the photographer I've used for years had a advisor board.
Oh.
And I was on it for a little while.
That's so nice.
Did you know that?
I don't think I did.
No, it was just like me and a couple of other agents. They started in the New Orleans area. So there were some agents there and there were some agents here. And we were talking about the checklist for photos. I'm like, it would be great if you, as the photographer, was providing a checklist to my sellers that told them what to do the week of the photo shoot and the day of the photo shoot. So some things obviously the toilet lids don't need to go down until the day of. The TV turned off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run through some of these week before.
Okay.
And then the day of. Some of them are already on your list, so I'll speed through them. The week before, exterior, landscape, weed your flower bed, add fresh mulch. Don't let your sellers put in their fresh mulch 3 months before they're going to list.
It's not fresh anymore.
No, like week before. Seasonal plants and flowers. Mow the lawn. I've had to reschedule photos many times because the lawn couldn't get mowed. I'm like, no, we'll just push it. Clean the pool. Don't just...
And then take the pool cleaner out of the pool. You
right.
know, the machine with the tail swimming around.
No, thank you.
I'm like, what are you doing in there? I have to get you out.
Right, get out. Pressure wash the house, the driveway, the walkway, patio, whatever. Okay. Wash the exterior windows. And here's a hot tip. Take the screens off your windows. We talk about this in staging. All right. Interior. Remove the clutter in your rooms. Replace any non-functioning light bulbs. Give your home a deep clean. Okay, fine. Day of the shoot, the exterior, remove the cars. Here we are again.
Here we go,
but
cars.
Here's the other thing. Don't just put them right in front of the house because the photos from in those front bedrooms or front living room look right out at them.
Right.
Move them to 2 houses down.
Yes.
Like they can't be right in front of the house. Remove the garbage cans, put away the garden hose, sprinklers. Here it is, pool cleaner, remove it. Add fresh cushions to your patio furniture, or like if you take your cushions up put them out. Sweep up the leaves. How many times am I out there blowing with the blower?
I know.
Right before the photos. And then again, I'm like, wait, hurry up. The wind keeps blowing it back.
Yes.
Get out here. In the rooms, open the drapes and you turn your blinds horizontally, okay? So that we can see you have blinds because it's a feature of the room, but that we can also see out of the window.
Sunlight.
And the only way you're going to be able to see out of the window is if you have a photographer that knows how to combine those exposures.
Yeah, they take
3.
3 photos
Mhm.
and then merge them
That's
so that
correct.
you have all the correct light in one photo.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
It's so amazing.
I didn't realize that's how they did it. And I was watching him do it one day and I was like, why are you taking this photo in the dark? And he was like, well, I'm just taking a photo of the light of the window right now. And I was like, oh,
They merge them together.
fascinating.
It's quite fascinating. Clean the floors. Turn off the fans. Turn on the lamps and lights. Hide power cords, cables, and chargers. Just hide them. You can unplug stuff you're not using and just tuck that away. Remove the pet bowls, the pet beds, and the pet toys.
No evidence of pet.
0 pet evidence. Turn off the TV and hide the remote. For heaven's sakes, we don't need to know what you were watching this morning. It's distracting.
Yeah.
And I also don't like when they put a faux thing on the TV. I just let the TV be off. It's fine.
Right.
But that's fine. Sometimes they put like a picture or whatever. Okay, kitchen, dining, wipe down your counter, remove items from the countertops. The rule of thumb on counters, 3 items per counter is the max.
Okay.
Okay, 3. But you can have none or 1 or whatever, just not more than 3. Remove the magnets and the stickers from the fridge.
They photograph so poorly.
I know, we already talked about the trash can, hide it, but also we're on the inside. If your trash can is out on display, just throw that thing in the garage for a minute. It's fine if you have to live like that, but we need it to not be there in the photo. Okay, fine. Wipe down your sinks and counters. Remove the items from the countertop or in the bathroom now. Remove the items from the shower. You already said this. Hide your trash cans there. Close your toilet lids. Refill the toilet paper rolls. Please don't have an empty toilet paper roll. I mean, if you're living there, it should look like you're living there. Okay, hang fresh towels, and I'm going to beg that you make them be white, but this is your business. I would prefer if they were. Bedrooms, put away all the clothes and tidy the closets, but I'm not taking a picture of the closet.
No.
Okay? Shove whatever you got to in there, make the room look good. Make the bed. Obviously.
Sure.
Okay, and then for a twilight shoot, it said you needed to turn on the interior and exterior lights. So you know those dusk photos?
Yeah.
You got to have outside lights on for that. Okay.
I have had situations where the seller, for what maybe they, like for example, my most recent one, they just got married. They have a room full of wedding gifts,
Right.
her stuff. They're merging houses.
Right.
They're stressing about, and I said, listen, pick the smallest bedroom and we are not going to photograph it.
Right.
Or if we're not going to photograph, if you just have a regular garage that we're not photographing the inside of the garage.
Right.
There's only been a few garages that I've been impressed with that I was like, we need a picture of this.
It's so funny you should say that. I put it on my list. I have photographed 1 garage that I can remember. 1. It had the really nice painted floor.
Right.
It had perfectly organized shelves. I was like, well, dang, we can take a photo of this. But otherwise, hide that stuff in the garage.
I know. I'm like, if you use it as storage, they know someone's living here. When they come for showings, they'll open this door, make sure they can walk to a closet and open the closet because they want to see it.
Right.
But it's okay if you're using it as storage if it's done neatly.
Right. I agree. Okay, there are other things you don't have to photograph.
Okay.
The laundry. If it's messy, if it's tiny, if it's... You don't have to have a photo of the laundry. I have probably photographed 25% of my laundry rooms.
See, we usually do them.
Okay. Laundry, the pantry.
Oh.
How many pantries do you post photos of?
So mine will always take a photo of it, and then I decide
I
if we
believe I have
should.
posted less than 5 pantry photos.
Yeah, I don't usually use them.
I mean, I'm going to want it because I'm so aesthetic. Mine is going to have to be like home edit level pantry for me to post it.
Correct.
Like real nice. Like, wow. Like, I don't know. Because having a photo of the pantry is not going to be the deciding factor if someone comes to the house.
No.
When they get there, they can see that it's a large pantry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to show them the messy pantry. Okay, so laundry, pantry, garage, we talked about the master closet in an occupied home.
It's very, very hard. Again, home edit level or nothing.
I think less than 3 I have photographed and then put on the MLS. Nothing bothers me more besides the open toilet lid than a picture of a closet that basically when you look at the MLS, it just looks like a rack of clothes. That's all you see.
You can't even see the closet.
What was the point?
Yeah.
Like, I want when you post your photos on the MLS, first of all, just because you or the photographer took a photo of that thing doesn't mean you have to share it.
Oh, no. I delete a few before.
It just isn't necessary. Then look at each photo and think, what is this telling the buyer? Can they actually see something? I mean, if it's just showing a line of clothes, what good is that doing?
Right.
It's doing no good. Okay. Do you want to do don'ts yet, or do you want me to ask you my questions? Okay.
Oh, what questions do you have?
Let's do questions. How many photos are enough?
Oh, man. I mean, I guess depends on the house, but I like every room if possible. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
20?
Do you feel like there's too many photos?
At some point, I have gotten to the point where I'm like, this is too much.
If you're taking 3 angles of a spare bedroom, that's too many.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, you need
I'm
one
good with
photo.
one. Yeah, right.
You need maybe 2 in a primary bedroom if there's something fancy going on in there. Maybe a couple in the primary bathroom, but like, you don't need 3 photos of every room.
Mm-mm.
A picture,
And it becomes confusing.
Right.
You know what I noticed when I was looking for cabins before I bought my cabin?
What?
So in Tennessee, you can only list however many bedrooms depending on the size of your septic tank. I know.
Wait,
I learned a lot.
what?
I learned a lot. Okay. So in the mountains, legally, you can only say 2 bedrooms,
Because
but it could have 4. But legally, you can only list it as 2 because of it's a thing. Okay.
Okay.
So I couldn't set up a search.
what you wanted.
For what I wanted because I would not see
Can
what
you
I
set
wanted.
up a septic tank size search?
I don't know. So what I had to do was count the bedrooms
From the photo.
from the photo, and the way I did it, because they all look very similar because it's like a log cabin,
Right.
I counted the comforters
Okay.
because they didn't all have the same comforter.
Right. And
And it was confusing because they would take like 3 pictures of one guest room, and I was like, oh wait, is this a new bedroom?
right.
Or
Right.
and so I was counting comforters to
Okay.
count how many bedrooms it had.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But
Oh.
it was frustrating whenever it was one of those where, okay, look, I've seen it where they have 50 pictures, and I'm like, then you don't even need to go see the house. Just give them enough to get them there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We don't need a picture of every bush in the yard.
Right.
Have you ever seen those? This
like,
is a
this-
lemon tree. This is a blueberry bush. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
okay,
okay, great. Thank you.
Good for that. Yeah.
Okay, right. Oh, wait. Are drone photos required?
No.
No, I would say no. If you have a big piece of land,
I do
some
like
kind
them,
of
yeah.
fancy yard,
But I've even used Google Earth
to get
and done like a screenshot, and it was enough because just to show the layout of
Right.
big house, pool, shop, and I've even like taken a screenshot from Google Earth, uploaded it into the app where you can type, label things
Yeah.
on the property, and it looked really nice.
I like that.
And it's very helpful. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. I have done a few drone when it's a big property, and I think they look nice.
Yeah. Okay. What about video?
I haven't been doing video. I
Yeah.
did during COVID a good bit.
Right. It depends on what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much do photos cost? You pay, right?
I do pay. What do you pay?
It depends on how many photos there are.
Right. Yours is going to be more official.
Okay, fine. I mean, like, I think, and I don't know the exact number, but 20 photos, let's call it 200
Okay.
or maybe less.
Yeah.
Depending.
Sure.
Okay. Yours varies.
I have kind of a friend deal.
Okay, fine. You don't have to tell us.
But I would say like anywhere between like $150 and $200 is about.
I think the general realtor listening needs to know, I've never hired a photographer before. I can't afford that. It shouldn't be $500.
No.
For a basic sized house with 3 bedroom, 2 bath, it should be a couple $100.
And now that I have these wonderful photos,
right,
that's when I make their closing gift where I put them all in like a Shutterfly book, and they can remember their house. And you can also use those photos to get a painting of the front. Like, you have these photos now, so
they're great.
use them for your content on your social media. Use them for closing gifts. Like, there's so much that you can use nice photos for.
Absolutely. And you should
ask your seller to leave one of the photos in their Google review that they leave you.
Perfect. Okay, how should you order your photos on the MLS?
I'll just tell you what I do. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way, really.
Tell us what you do.
If it's I try to make my first 4 photos the best. The best. There are a few websites where they will only let you look at 4 photos and then you have to log in. So I want
to get your best ones out there.
Best 4 photos.
Okay.
And then I usually start with kitchen, living, master.
Okay.
Or primary bedroom.
Okay. And then do you
do a
backyard?
Outside, if it's a good backyard. And then I kind of save like the guest rooms for towards the end, unless they're really special.
Yeah.
Usually I feel people want to know, how's the backyard, how's the primary room, how's the living and kitchen.
Right.
And then I'll just, whatever extras my photographer took, I'll just tack on the end if there's not too many, like laundry or half bath.
Right. My photographer orders them as if you're walking through the house, which I kind of like. However, I do really like the top 4. So now I'm kind of hybrid, and I'll do the best 4, and then as we walk through the house.
I think that's good.
It just kind of helps your mind go, okay, here I am. I'm walking. I can kind of see where I'm going.
And if it's a big house, label them.
Okay, that was my next question. Do you label your photos?
I try to, yeah.
Okay, I label mine, and I will tell you why. Sometimes buyers don't read the MLS description.
Right.
So the photos are your moment to say, new wood floors.
Oh, you put that kind of stuff?
Oh, yes.
That's a good idea.
Because in our MLS, there's a title to the photo, so you could say dining room, and then there's a notes, and that shows up at the bottom of the photo. So I'll put, dining room view to kitchen, and then I'll put at the bottom, brand new, quartz countertop.
Right.
Because they may not be reading the description, but they're going to look at the photo, and they may just read what that says, okay? So I think it's a good hack to get people to hear what you want about the house. Okay. Or if it's confusing, or if, for instance, I just took a listing, the dining room is being used as an extra kid den or like a playroom. And so I wrote dining room, and then I put notes, currently being used as an extra den.
That's nice.
I need to make people aware of what I need them to know about the house.
I had a house one time. I was going to be the second listing agent. It was an expensive house, around $850, and they had this odd room upstairs.
Right. Oh, I remember
that nobody could really figure out what it should be, and it had some weird angles to it at the ceiling because it was part of the attic at some point, and it was just finished. So I had them empty it because it obviously wasn't working. They were kind of using it as storage, but that's not very exciting.
No, at all.
I had them empty it, and then I made sure that the photographer got a really good picture of the room.
Okay.
Then I uploaded it to one of the virtual staging companies, and I paid for 3 different stagings of the same room. So I had it as like an office. I had it as a gym. I had it as a media room.
I love it.
And then I got those photos and I uploaded them to MLS after the empty one to say, what is this room for? You could use it for this, this, or this. And then I also had those 3 virtually staged printed.
You put
in that room on little easels.
I love that.
So when you walked in, it was like, oh, look, it could be this or this or this. And y'all, I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly what did it, but I had no problem selling that house.
And it was listed before.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Genius.
I mean, we had to do a few other things, but I think all of it combined,
made a difference. Right. Okay. Are you ready for don'ts? I think you answered all my questions.
Okay.
Okay. Don'ts are, look.
Don't leave your toilet lid up.
We've already been there.
Katie will come get
I will be
you.
very upset. I'm wearing my black and white shirt today, which makes me feel like a referee.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing flags on these plays.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Don't use a cell phone.
Oh, yeah, never.
Never use a cell phone. Don't. Say you have a camera, use the fisheye lens.
Where it makes it wide?
Where it looks like it's really wide and we're like looking in a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
No, please don't do that. Don't false advertise. We talked about this. Too many filters. You got to tell people it's virtually staged. Okay. Don't stand on a ladder and take the photo down into a room.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of effort.
Why was that a thing?
I don't know.
Or people are holding the camera up in the air. Like it's pointed down.
Yeah.
No, please don't do that. Don't take a picture of just the bed.
Oh, yeah.
How many times have you seen a spare bedroom when they don't have the right lens and really all that ended up in the photo was a bed?
Right. You can't really see the wall or where the closet is.
I'm not buying a bed. No. Don't take a picture of just the bed or just the anything. Make sure you're on the... And look, here's the deal. If for some reason you absolutely have to use your cell phone, you can zoom out now more on a cell phone.
You can click that 0.5 button.
Yeah, right.
It does really help.
It does.
Whenever I have a client that can't come in town to do, and they want a walkthrough video, I do use my cell phone with my stabilizer, which is on our website if you need to go find that.
Right.
And it,
you do the 0.5?
I do the 0.5 on the video, but it really makes it look like you're walking through.
Okay.
It's better for a video, I think, but it's great.
You're right. My photographer once told me, because I like to ask a lot of questions, the lens that they use on their camera for real estate photos is the most similar to the human eye. So what the eye takes in is the lens they're using.
Very interesting.
It's not wider. It's not narrow. It's what the eye would see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Do not have a finger in the photo.
Yeah.
You know, like you held over the lens. How many times have you seen that? Do not have a person in the photo.
We just saw grandma.
Grandma. I mean, there are a lot with the people in the photo. I saw one in our MLS when I was searching for a client where the guy was mowing the backyard, like the owner.
Man.
And I'm like, well, hold up now. That's just laziness because he was going to be done in like 4 more stripes.
Right.
Why didn't they
just wait?
Just wait. Just wait. Come back if you have to leave, right? But you never put a person in the photo.
What do you think about this? Kind of went away, but I saw it a few times in our market. It's probably bigger in big cities, but the lifestyle photo shoot
where
around
like,
the pool
stuff.
And like they have the big inflatable swan in the pool and people, you know, swimming and having cocktails.
Okay, I did list a house actually down the street from mine once. No one was lifestyle photoed, except I did put the swan blow up in the pool because I thought it was
cute.
fun.
That is cute.
But that's staging to me. I didn't put a person on the swan.
No, this is like, you know,
people like having a
lifestyle
party
of the rich and famous in your house having dinner.
I personally want to see the house, just the house.
Yeah, just let me see it.
But because that's distracting, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe now I'm looking at the lady and what she's wearing instead of the house. Okay. Mm-hmm. Same difference as removing your personal photos. Also, do not have pets in the photo.
Oh, I've seen that a few times.
So many times. The cat's on the bed. The cat's on the couch. The dog is laying on the floor. I'm like, yeah, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Mm-hmm. Please move the pets. Okay. And then if you, like we said before, if you want a good laugh today, go look up bad MLS photos. But I wanted to mention one. I don't know if you saw this one a while back. I feel like it was on Zillow Gone Wild or one of these accounts.
Yeah.
But it was staged with mannequins.
Oh, no.
The entire house, and the mannequins were all wearing like prom dresses.
Oh, my goodness.
And Alyssa, they were like laid out on the bed. They were in the kitchen eating. They were like at the dining room table. There were mannequins all over this house. It was wild.
That's bizarre.
Bizarre. There should never be, like, I've seen them when there were dolls in every room. Dolls
Nope.
here,
Nope,
dolls
nope,
there,
nope.
all the dolls. No mannequins, no dolls, no. There was that one that went viral a few years ago with I don't know that I guess it was kind of staged, but it was like an adult room.
So this has probably been years ago, before I had kids for sure, but it was a friend of mine and her dad had passed away. And she's like, okay, I'm like really like this is very stressful for me, getting his house emptied. You know, he was larger than life, super fun bachelor.
Okay.
And she's like, it has been terrible emptying his house.
Because she was finding
she's
all
like,
the secrets.
Yes. She's like, I have been dreading asking you to even come because I don't know what you're going to say. Like, how much do I have to do to this house? So she called me and it's like, okay, I think I'm finally ready. I think, I've totally emptied it. There's a few things I don't know what to do. So you're just going to have to tell me, for the sake of photos, what do I need to do?
I'm dying right now.
And I'm like, okay. So we walk in the master bedroom and I'm like, oh, because the ceiling and all the walls were mirrors.
The ceiling and the walls?
Yep.
Wall to wall.
Like, you look up and it's mirrors and the walls are mirrors. And there are a few hooks in the ceiling where things used to be hanging.
Right. And
I'm like,
right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see here.
What did you make her do?
I see. I said, I have a painter and I think we're just going to have to spend some money.
Yeah.
And we got to remove it. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to remove it and just let him. I don't know what's behind. It was not a mirror hanging on a wall.
No, it was all wall mirror.
It was, I don't even know if there was sheetrock behind it. I said, we are going to have to remove all these mirrors and hooks, and we are going to have the painter come and just make it look like a normal room. And she was like, okay, you have some. I was like, yeah. So I just sent my guy and he handled it.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah. It was fun.
I'll call that style specific. When you're staging, you're like, this is a little too style specific.
Right.
That works great with my last don't. Don't be in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
You know how many... the agent, the arm, the camera, something's in the mirror.
You just see their
A good photographer is not going to get the mirror.
No, yeah.
Not going to be in it anyway. You could have had Grandma come from the other photos and just sit in that bedroom, and Grandma would be all around on the mirrors. Mm-hmm. Don't be in the mirror. Don't do it. Okay. Good news. That's all I have.
Wonderful. I think this was very helpful.
I think it's super important to remember that the photos are your first impression to the market. Your seller needs to be really bought into. That is a super important part of the process, that we can't rush and take photos just because you want to sell. It's better to wait the week and clean it up. And, you as an agent, if you're not very visual like I am, things stick out to me. I'm going to know if the toilet lid's open. I'm going to know if the curtain is askew. I'm going to know if the dining room chair isn't at a 90-degree angle.
Oh, my.
Oh, yes. My photographer knows that I need to zhuzh. Like, I had to move hand towels in this last one.
Right.
And he was like, I would hang this hand towel, but I know that you're going to do it. And I'm like, you're correct.
That's why I'm here.
That's why I'm here. So let me do it. But if you're the type of person, I don't expect every agent to be me. I just happen to be a visual person.
So good point here. I just had a situation where I was the second listing agent. He said, do you want to come do a consultation? I said, yes, but first I want to go through your photos.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what I see.
Right.
And I went through each photo and wrote notes under them. I made like a Word document and just made notes under each photo. And he was like, I see what you're talking about.
Oh, good.
And he was like, I didn't even think about this.
Right.
And he was like, give me a week.
I'll make it better.
I'll make it better. And then I went and I was like, this looks amazing. And he could not believe the new
difference.
photos.
Okay, y'all, but that's the thing. If you're not visual, there's no dig to that previous agent. Maybe they really didn't notice.
And this was, he's a single guy and he had a lot of masculine things.
Okay.
And I said, look, if I was at your house for dinner, this would bother me none.
Right.
In the photo, it's all I see.
Right.
This iron decor thing,
right.
you know, or it was a lot of like dark, a lot of iron, just things that are distracting.
Right.
And so once removed, it was like, oh, now I see the house.
Right. But you've got to consult. If you can't see it, then get a stager or another agent or somebody else to come and look at it for you.
And once pointed out, he was like,
He knew.
I can't even believe it. Like, he's like, even as a buyer that just bought a house, now I see what the buyers were seeing looking at my house.
Right. You have to open your clients' eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They've been living in it. There's never anything wrong with the way someone decorates or lives in their home. It's their home.
I would probably have to help someone see my house.
I think that's fair.
Things that have just always been there that
Right.
never bothered me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I do have one last question.
Okay.
I probably know the answer, but do you do professional photos regardless of the price range?
Yes.
Same for me, and I wanted to make sure we made that point. Professional photos are a service to every seller I have, whether they're selling a $50,000 condo or a $2 million mansion. It doesn't matter what it is. They need professional photos.
Mm-hmm.
The only time, and you mentioned it, that maybe I would skip is if I've sold a fixer-upper that we literally was a gut.
Right.
We don't need a professional photo to show you this room is covered in mold.
Sure.
Or that this is
mold. Yes.
The wall is totally
like a tear
cracked.
down.
Some cell phone photos are probably best for that because all we're selling you is you got to fix this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, in one of our don't repeat the same photo 3 times to meet the requirements of your MLS. Our MLS requires 5 photos?
Right.
Sometimes people will put the same photo 5 times.
Just to meet the requirement. It's so
No,
lazy.
this is not okay. That is very lazy. I don't care if it is the ugliest house ever. Find 5 angles of whatever you're taking a picture of.
Sort of like how I've always said one of my passions is bringing professionalism and credibility back to the realtor brand. We do that by how we market our products. Please don't be one of the agents that ends up on one of these websites that doesn't like realtors.
Bad photos.
Yeah.
Right. Don't end up on a bad photo website. Go look at your listings right now. Critique your own photos.
Mm-hmm.
See what you can do better next time. You can always improve.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for a toast?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Today's toast is from Alessa Morales in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Okay, she's toasting. She said, I would like to toast to Cindy Cobb for telling me about this podcast.
Oh.
I have had trouble finding one that I feel isn't a waste of my time when it comes to education in my real estate career. Finally, you all speak my language and share my views about what our profession needs to do better, and
Thank you.
teach us how to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you both, and cheers to Cindy for telling me about you. Well, that was perfect.
Yeah. Couldn't plan that better.
Thanks, Alessa. That was absolutely perfect. Yep. We're just here to give you the education so that we can all be better.
Do you want to tell them where they can get our email templates since we kind of talked about that a few times?
Sure. Email templates101.com.
Okay,
also, you can go to hustlehumblypodcast.com and find any resource. Free resource, the templates, all of it's there.
Yes, we have all the freebies there. We just revamped our website. So it is
it's
so
great.
good
You
right
can get
now.
whatever you need.
So helpful.
Whatever you need. Okay, and I decorated for spring today.
I see.
I know, because this comes out on March 20th.
Oh.
So it'll be, hopefully where you are, it's very springy.
Spring cleaning.
We'll be well into summer by then.
Oh, yeah. It'll be so hot.
It'll be so hot. Okay, thank you all, and go take some
Bye.
photos. Bye. But don't bring a photographer.
And do put your toilet seat lid down. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast. Let us know who we should toast to for the next